Good morning, Junior 6. I'm going now to start my revision for the second term. We hope that we're going to cover most of the curriculums that have been taken. Let's start by the grammar. Passive and active voice. First of all, what's the meaning of an active sentence so that I can change it into passive? If I have a sentence like, Tom plays the flute, that's a normal sentence. It has got a subject, verb, and object. How can I change such a sentence into a passive sentence? First of all, I have to start with the object, and the object here is the flute. The flute. What about the verb plays? Which tense is it written in? It's written in the present simple. So the flute is played by, and I ended by the doer of the action. So the sentence, which is Tom plays the flute, has to be the flute is played by Tom. What did I do in such a sentence? First of all, I started with the object. Then I put verb to be in its suitable form according to the verb given in the active sentence. Third, I have the past participle of the verb. And the fourth thing is by before the doer. So how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move now to the explanation. So to change from passive to active, first of all, I have to start with the object. Write the verb to be in the same tense of the verb in the active voice. Third, write the past participle of the verb. And past participle, of course, it means the third form of the verb. And number 4, write by before the doer of the action. Type. How many tenses have we taken this year? We have taken 4 tenses, starting with the present simple. How can I change it? If I have a verb written in the present simple, I have to write it as am, is, are, plus past participle of the verb. What about if I have the verb written in the past simple? When the verb is written in the past simple, I have to change it by was or were plus the past participle of the verb. Present perfect, has or have, plus been plus the past participle. And the last tense we've taken is the past perfect. How can I change it? Have plus been plus the past participle. Let's now answer some sentences on what I have revised right now. Someone attacked the bank last week. How can I answer it? First of all, underline the verb in the sentence. What is the tense? It's written in the past simple. How can I change it? I said start with the object. So the bank, past simple. So it's going to be was attacked last week by someone. I can say the bank was attacked last week by someone, or the bank was attacked by someone last week. It's not a matter. Type. The second sentence, John cleaned the table. What's the verb here? Had cleaned. Which tense? Past perfect. So it's going to be the table. Past perfect, it will be a had been cleaned by John, by the doer. My mother has peeled the oranges. Where is the verb? Has peeled. Which tense? Present perfect. So it's going to be the oranges have, because here I have oranges, have been peeled by my mother. They don't print these books anymore. Where is the verb? Don't print. Which tense? Present simple. So it's going to be these books Present simple, it's going to be a aren't. Negative form, just add not. Aren't printed anymore by them. As for the question form or the question passive form, you know all of you that it's canceled this year. Let's now move to another exercise. Here we are going to complete the following sentences by correcting the verb between brackets. Also, we're going to put the verb in the passive A form. Let's look at the first sentence. Remember that we have got 4 different tenses, which means that we have to know every sentence is written in which tense. Look here, liquid paper invented by Bessie Nethmis in 1951. Where is the key word in this sentence? We have got in 1951. It shows that the sentence is written in the past simple. So it's going to be liquid paper was invented by Bessie Nethmis in 1951. 2. An article read by the students before the teacher left. Where is the key word that shows what kind of tense is this one? We have before. So the sentence is written in the past perfect form. So it's going to be an article had been written by the students before the teacher left. 3. The computer fixed yet. Where is the key word? Yet. It's a keyword for the present perfect tense. So it's going to be the computer has been fixed. Means something wrong in this sentence. Can I say has been fixed yet? No. Of course, when I have the word, the key word yet, there should be negative form in the sentence. So it has to be the computer hasn't, don't forget to add not. Not yet. Hasn't been fixed yet. 4. The air conditioning turned on during the summer month. What is the tense of this sentence? Here it seems that this is an habitual action, so it's going to be in the present simple. During the summer month, so it's going to be the air conditioning is turned on during the summer month. Now it's time for choosing the correct answer, and this exercise is taken from your revision booklet, page 8. Most people think one electric light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison. Let's see here. Is this sentence passive or active? What tells me? First of all, I have got the object written in the beginning of the sentence. And by the end, I have got by and the doer. So this one is passive. So most people think one electric bulb was invented by Thomas Edison. But in fact, it was Humphrey Davy who, this is the doer in this sentence in the beginning. So this one is a active. So it was Humphrey Davy who invented it in 800. Number 2, in 1655, Huygens discovered discovered Titan. So here we have got the doer. So in 1655, Huygens discovered Titan, the largest moon of Saturn. This one is active. 3, the first microwave ovens by Raytheon Corporation in 1954. What kind of sentence is this? Here we have got the object in the beginning and then the doer in the end. So this means that the sentence is a passive. So the first microwave ovens were produced. In 1928, the color TV was developed by John Luigi Baird. The color TV was developed. It's a passive sentence. 2 years later, it means he is a person, a doer. So this one is passive. He made the first public TV broadcast. 5, the first book in English was printed in about 1474 by William Caston. This seems to be the object and the doer in the end of the sentence. So this one is passive. So the first book in English was printed. 6, the first designs of submarine made ولا were made by Leonardo da Vinci? This again is the object and the doer in the end of the sentence. So this one is a passive. So the first designs of submarine were made. Now it's time for if conditional type 3. When do I use it? I use it to talk about an imaginary situation that happened in the past. It's a past situation that I wished it to be different, but it's over, it's in vain now. But what about the form? It consists of two clauses. If clause and main clause. If clause consists of a if plus the past perfect form of the verb, had plus the past participle of the verb. طيب, what about the second part? Would have plus the past participle. I told you before that if clause is usually a reason, however the main clause is a result. Let's answer. This exercise is taken as it is from your revision booklet, page 11. Complete the sentences using the correct form of the verb. If I find a lot of money, I would have bought a new pink dress. How can I change the verb here? I have got if. So this is if clause. How can I write the verb? If I had found a lot of money, I would have bought a new pink dress. 2. If I had bought a red sports car, I drive to school. This is if in the beginning of the sentence. After if, the verb should be in the past perfect. And what about the second part? Would have plus the past participle of the verb. So I would have driven to school. 3. If I had lived in a small green village, I feed the sheep and cows. Again, this is if clause, past perfect form of the verb. And the second part, I would have fed. Have fed, because the past participle of feed is fed. 4. If I be the manager of this company, I would have promoted you. If here, a past perfect, if I had been the manager of this company, I would have promoted you. 5. If I had known her telephone number, I would have called her and invited her to the party. 7. If my father not have a job, he not pay for the bills. So if my father hadn't had a job, had for the past perfect form and had the past participle of the given verb. A job, he wouldn't have paid for the bills. Number 8, if I not have any homework to do, I go out with my friends. يبقى if I hadn't had any homework to do, I would have gone out with my friends. Now it's time to form sentences. If we have bread, sausage, tomato, and onion, we make some sandwiches. How can I write it? If we had bread, sausage, tomato, and onion, comma, to separate between if clause and the main clause. We would have made some sandwiches. The last sentence here, if my friend James be ill not, we play basketball with him. So it's going to be a if my friend James, what about him? Hadn't, because you have not. يبقى hadn't been ill, comma, to separate if clause from the main clause, we would have played basketball with him. That's the end of the grammar part. Let me now start with the spelling revision. It's going to be also taken from your revision booklet, spelling page 2. Let's unscramble the words between brackets. Number 1, why are you arguing about such an starting with the I, an insignificant amount of money? Insignificant amount of money. Number 2, the clothes were made of what material? Starting with a C sound, with coarse material. The fire caused a considerable damage, great damage. They were dots by the cliff. They were up the cliff. They were a scrambling. They were scrambling, climbing. 5, the sun rose over the horizon. The sun rose over the horizon, starting with the H. A offer is unlikely to be accepted. A miserly offer. 7, she is about healthy eating. She is fanatical. The princess was greeted by a crowd of admirers, by an enthusiastic. Number 9, my father, me on the front of his bike. My father pushed me. The actress wrote a back date, what? Memoir. He at the beautiful scenery with his mouth open. He gazed, looked. The land could produce little food. The barren land. The plane flew at an of 3,000 meters at an altitude. That's the end of the spelling. Let's move to the vocab now. Now, revision. It's in your revision booklets, pages 1, 2, and 3. Let me revise the words before I start answering. What's the meaning of desperately? Desperately means it's an adverb in a way that shows you are frightened and ready to do or to try anything to change a situation. You're hopeless. Customary. It's an adjective which means habitual, according to the customs of a particular society. Intently. Intently is an adverb, and it means carefully, in a way that gives all your attention to do something. Frustrated, feeling annoyed or disappointed for not achieving what you want, and it's an adjective. Piercingly, it's an adverb which means extremely or sharply. Let's now answer the following exercise. She fought the steering wheel for control, but the car weaved all over the road. She desperately fought. It's to hold the door open for someone who is entering a building behind you. It's customary, it's habitual, it's a habit. The weather remained what's the word which is always connected with the weather? Piercingly cold, sharply cold. 4, he gets, when people do not understand what he's trying to say, he gets frustrated. John looked at the princess while she was speaking. He looked intent leave. Now, other words, loom, it's a noun, which means to appear as a large, often frightening or unclear shape or object, to appear unclear. Expedition, it's again a noun, which means a long, organized trip for a particular purpose or a reason. Ledge, it's a noun, and it means a narrow horizontal surface projecting from a wall or a cliff or any other surface. Summit, it's the highest point of a hill or a mountain. Dome, it's a noun again, it's the rounded roof for a building or structure, typically with a circular base. Now let's answer. The climbers fail to reach the top of the mountain or the hill. They fail to reach the summit. Storm clouds on the horizon. Storm clouds, what did they do on the horizon? They loomed. She had climbed onto the outside window, onto the ledge outside the window. The team's new stadium is a dome. Its top is built in the form of a dome. In the television series, the spaceship set off on a 10-year to explore new planets and meet new life form. So a 10-year expedition, a trip for a purpose, expedition. That's the last list in our vocab, but I'm going to revise it all before we answer. Cauldron, what's a cauldron? It's a noun which means a large metal pot with a lid and handle used for cooking over on an open fire, used especially in the past. It's a big pot that people used to cook in the past. Legal, allowed or permitted by law, and it's an adjective. Dismiss, it means, it's a verb which means order somebody to leave a job or to leave a place. Butler, he is the most important male servant in a house, and he's responsible for organizing other servants. Approve, agree, accept, allow, and it's a verb. Assign, it's a verb which means to give someone a job or a task or responsibility to be done. Scone, it's a noun. It means the small unsweetened cake, like the cupcake that you eat it. Typical, exactly the same, and it's an adjective. Dustpan, it's a flat container with a handle into which you collect dust. You know the flat container that your mom collects the dust in? That's the dustpan. It's a compound word. Gristly, it's an adjective which means solid white substance in meat, and it's difficult to eat. Housekeeper, the woman responsible for organizing a person's house. Frantic, adjective, which means almost out of control because of extreme emotion such as worry. Blame, it's a verb, and it means that you feel or say that someone is responsible for a bad situation that happened to you. Let's now choose from the brackets. When our family went camping, we would often use to slowly cook our stew for dinner. Stew means soup, so we use a cauldron. It's like a pot. I don't care if all the other parents are letting their kids do it. I don't approve, agree. They had a cook, and a maid. So they had a butler, a male servant. The committee has decided to they decided to dismiss him, to let him leave work. His aunt is his guardian. His aunt is his legal guardian. طيب, let's move to the homework. It's going to be in your grammar revision booklet from pages 7 to 12, comprehension page 59 to 62, and writing, you have to write 3 paragraphs in the past tense about your visit to a wild park. You're going to find it in your writing booklet, page 38. Now our last item, It's Midsummer Night Dream. The Reader. It's all taken. You're going to find all these questions in your revision booklet. Let's start. The first question. Why did the craftsman decide to perform a play on the Duke's wedding party? 2. Thank him for his invitation to them to attend his wedding party, because we know that they were poor, simple people, so they have to thank the Duke for inviting them to his wedding party. Although the craftsmen were simple men, the Duke invited them to his party. What do you think of the Duke's behavior? It reflects that he is a noble gentleman, as he gave them the chance to attend his wedding ceremony. Can you describe Peter Quint's character? We know that he is a bossy character. He was the writer, the director, and the person who assigned the roles to the actors in the play. He was stubborn, as he refused to change the play that they were going to perform in front of the Duke. And he didn't listen to his friend's opinion when they told him that it was a tragedy and it was a wedding party. What's the common thing between Aegeus and Demetrius? Both of them are aggressive, tough, and stubborn. They didn't care about Hermia's feelings. Aegeus wanted his daughter to follow his orders, despite she loves the person she will marry or not. Otherwise, she's going to be punished according to the Athenian law, either to be put to death or sent to a nunnery. And Demetrius just wanted to marry her in spite of the fact that she loves somebody else. 5. Nick Bottom didn't like the cruel deaths of Pyramus and Thisbe. Explain. Bottom didn't like the play because it was a tragedy. Bottom thought it would be more suitable to perform a comedy, as they were going to perform it on a wedding ceremony. 6. Compare between Demetrius's reaction towards Helena and Hermia in the woods. As for Helena, you remember that he was aggressive to her. He told her that he didn't love her. He ignored her and left her alone in the dark woods. On the other hand, he followed Hermia, kneeled in front of her, expressing his love, and didn't want to leave her alone in the dark woods. 7. Although Oberon didn't interfere with humans, he decided for the first time to interfere and to help Helena. Let's discuss it. Oberon sympathized with Helena. When he saw Demetrius' tough reaction to her, he decided to cast a spell on Demetrius to make him fall in love with Helena. Of course, unlike Puck, who always used to interfere in the life of humans and was naughty to them, playing tricks on them. Why did the craftsmen do a lot of mistakes while rehearsing? Because, as I said before, it was the first time to act, as they were simple, poor men who had no idea about acting. Although Bottom turned into a donkey-headed man, he enjoyed the feeling of being a master. Can you discuss it? Bottom was a simple, poor craftsman, and that's why he was pleased to be a master, served by a lot of fairies, and also being loved by the queen of fairies, Titania. Although the craftsmen had no idea about acting, they insisted on performing the play. What do you think about the craftsmen? They were determined men, as they were trying very hard to make a perfect performance to please the Duke and the audience. However, that was the first time for them to act. Theseus is a noble Duke. Explain. We said it before that he is noble, as he sent an invitation to the craftsmen to attend his wedding ceremony. However, they were simple and poor men. There are other things, but we have to stop at chapter 6. How did the craftsmen prepare for the rehearsal? They decided that a small, simple hill would be an ideal stage for them. They hung colorful lanterns from the trees to illuminate the performance area and turned some nearby bushes into dressing rooms. How did Titania fall in love with a donkey-headed man? When Bottom walked to stage with his donkey head, his fellow actors screamed and ran everywhere out of fear. And the noise woke Titania up. Once she laid eyes on Bottom, the love potion worked and she fell in love with him. Remember, it was because the Duke decided, the King of Fairies decided to take his revenge from her by pouring the love potion to fall in love with a ridiculous creature. Now, it's time to end up our revision. Thank you, Junior 6. Hope you will finish all what we did today in your grammar and spelling and vocab and reader revision booklet. Stay safe and at home, and I will miss you. Goodbye.